Good morning. I am back to cut the bay rum and vanilla called Adventure Bound, and they turned out perfectly. I've already cut these into logs, so it'll just be a little easier. And thought I'd just chat with you a minute while I do these. I'm also in the process of making the second soap right now. I ran out of castor oil. My husband's actually at my local supplier picking up my 10 gallons of olive oil and my castor oil. So they look really good. I just wanted this really dark, almost like a rich, dark chocolatey color, but not too dark, and it's actually perfect. It will darken a little bit as it cures, and then I wanted this cream kind of running through it, which is great. So they look good, and they smell even better. I was worried that I wasn't going to get this scent right because bay rum is a little bit strong, and I didn't want it to be quite so strong. I wanted there to be like a sweetness with the strong kind of added to it, and it is just right. So we'll get these out and on the curing shelves and then get our next batch going. And I can now send out some samples as well because I have my end bars. So I'll be cutting those up when they're ready for samples. So let's talk a little bit about this quarantine and how it's going for everybody. I have not posted videos because it actually got really busy for me with my Etsy shop. People are sending care packages. I did a lot of care packages for nurses. I did packages for teachers. I did a ton this year for Mother's Day because people just can't visit. So it was really actually nice and uplifting for me to be able to see all the messages and convey those onto a card for my customers. Just really sweet messages to people, encouraging them and really just helping to kind of lift each other up, and I think that's what we need during this time. I've been pretty lucky in general, but I think we've all gone through different things, and I am definitely not immune to that. Just a few weeks into the quarantine, well, really just a few weeks ago, so my mother was just kind of feeling short of breath, like we have been going out walking and stuff prior to the quarantine, and she was just really like getting winded really easily, and that's not who she is. She's 73, but she's a very young 73. She's very, very active. She's, she travels often. She's always with her friends. She just has a good lease on life. And anyway, so she went to her doctor, and she always, gets checked and keeps up with everything. And her doctor just said, all right, well, we'll just take an x-ray just in case. And they took an x-ray and found a spot. So right away, they had to order a CAT scan, which turned into, yes, there's definitely something there. And that turned into a PET scan. This is all just within like a 2-week period. And once the PET scan was done, it's what you never want to really see, right? The C word. So she actually had a mass in her lung, and it was a pretty sizable one. And she was never a smoker or anything. It just goes to show that anybody could have something like this happen at any time. We don't have a family history of cancer of any kind, and I've always kind of banked on that we're so lucky. And here this happened, and then she got the biopsy following that. And it just happened so quickly, and immediately they had her scheduled for surgery. So I actually just picked her up this morning from the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. She was in the hospital for almost a week by herself, having some pretty major surgery. They had to actually remove the lower part of her lung, one of the lobes, and obviously remove the tumor, and the recovery is not easy. So not being able to go there and be there with her was very tough. She and my dad aren't together. They've been divorced for quite some time. And that's always something that has weighed on her too, because it wasn't something she wanted. So being alone during this time it was just hard. It was very hard. It was hard on me and my sister. It was hard on her. And we're hoping she's back to herself soon. I brought her home, and of course we'll be there watching over her. My son is there. My oldest son is there right now. They have a very good relationship, and he's going to be sleeping there tonight because we have to try to keep her away from any exposure as well to the virus. My other son is still out working, so he's coming home every day, and we can't take a chance that she could get sick because it just wouldn't be a good situation. So anyway, I haven't really talked about it much at all. In fact, my sister and I didn't even tell anybody until the day she was having surgery. So, it's kind of out there now, and I can, release it and get back to work, keep myself busy while taking care of her. But I mean, this virus has really affected us in so many ways. All of us, and I'm not just speaking about myself. I looked at my calendar, it popped up today. There was supposed to be a field trip to Washington, D.C. My son, who's in 6th grade, was supposed to take that. And it just makes me sad, soccer tryouts have come and gone, and, field trips and friends and all of these things that we just make a part of our daily life that kind of keep us healthy mentally and physically and just thriving have been really taken away. So I'm just hoping that soon everything will be back to normal for everyone, for all of us. But I wanted you to have an opportunity to please, vent in the comments. Leave whatever you want to leave there. If something's bugging you, if you feel like it's been hard, leave it there. Nobody has a right to tell you that your story is any less than anyone else's. Okay, so that is my kind of update on the quarantine. I'm going to be back again as I make the other soap, which I'll be making later today, and I'll show you as I pour that one. Hello everyone, we are back to cut the newest soap. I was going to show you the pour for this, and things have just been a little bit crazy, so I'm showing you just the cut again. So I already have these cut into logs from the slabs, and once again, this is the second soap in the men's series that I'll be launching, and it has a charcoal and then just the natural soap color inside of it. And this one is patchouli, cedarwood, and leather. And it's really nice. It smells great. I had to really play with this fragrance, much more so than the other one, because it was just a little bit too strong for me in one direction, so I had to get a balance going, and finally got it. So there it is, you can see that. And these will be launching, I am furiously working on them. The beard balms will be finished in the next day or two, and that is the last thing that needs to be produced. They will then go out and get some pictures, maybe get modeled a little bit by some bearded gentlemen, and as soon as I have that back, they will launch. So they're going to be on Etsy, they're going to be on my website, and I will be sending them out first before I launch anywhere else to my email list. So if you're interested in the men's products, I'm also going to have them, let me grab these bags. I'm going to have sets available so that you can get a muslin bag, and this one has my logo stamped on it, but I'm going to have some plain ones that I will be stamping with Happy Father's Day. So you can send a set, like a beard oil, a beard balm, and a soap all matching, which is kind of nice. But they will go quickly because I have a limited amount, and when they're done, they are done. So if you are interested, get on my email list, and I believe I have that link below. If not, I will put it there. And you can also just go to the front page of my website, and the email sign up is there. So jump on the email and make sure you hit the launch. They smell amazing. I'm trying to think what this reminds me of. Okay, I know what it reminds me of. When I was 12 years old, my family went to England, and we went to England and Scotland, and that kind of kicked off a series of international travel. My father was a school principal and then eventually a superintendent, and we lived in a small house while I was growing up, and we didn't have lavish things. I didn't have the latest clothes, things like that. Money was spent on experiences. So they always took us out to dinner with them, my mom and dad, and it was spent on vacations that we could enjoy with my parents. And I will always, always be forever grateful for that, because it created this love of travel in me, and kind of sparked an interest in learning different languages. So when I went to school, I studied languages. I studied abroad. I lived in Germany and in Spain for a summer when I was only 15. And I eventually became a language teacher. So for 20 years, I've also been teaching English. I became an ESL teacher. I teach English literature, but I also teach, well, not currently, but I taught Spanish for a long time up to the AP level. And I think that travel kind of just inspired a whole career path for me, and it's kind of been passed on to one of my sons as well, which is really nice. But the reason I'm telling you this story is because when I smelled this, now that it has been sitting overnight and the soap has begun to take on the fragrance, it smells a little different than it does in other products. And the smell is warm and very inviting, and it reminds me of a castle, Borthwick Castle, which was a castle that we ended up like happening upon when we were driving through Edinburgh. And I remember this so vividly. And we stayed overnight. I remember it being kind of a lot of money, and my parents talking about it and saying, you know, it's a once in a lifetime chance. Mary Queen of Scots lived here, and it was this wonderful, huge castle that was supposedly haunted. And we stayed there overnight, and we were the only guests, and it was probably one of the best experiences of my life, aside from, you know, getting married and having my children and that kind of thing. But what a wonderful way to kind of treasure your childhood. Anyway, there were certain scents that wafted through that castle that were just, that stuck with me. And this is one of them. I'm like immediately seeing the great hall of the castle and the fireplace, and sitting down to a dinner at this huge table with candlelight. And that's what this smell reminds me of. And the soap is called True Gentleman, which is kind of fitting. So that's that. Just popping in here again. I may pop in one more time, or I may end the video right here. And I'm hoping you guys are going to jump on the email so that I can notify you when it's time to you know, go ahead and launch these, because they're pretty amazing if I do say so myself. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.